Well, it's mango season, and this is actually one of my favorite times of year. Mangoes at Costco, they start showing up, and I get pretty excited. Unfortunately, there's many people out there that do not know how to cut a mango properly. And I like to think I know how to cut it properly, so I'm going to share with you how I do it. My wife does this all the time, and she always messes it up. It's much like an avocado. You want to have yourself your mango, obviously. Definitely want to wash it off first. And then a nice long knife with a decent sized blade that's going to go through the length of the mango, and a little bowl, and obviously a trash can. Very similar to an avocado though. You definitely want to start and with the pit on the mango. It goes long ways. So as you can see, I cut through the center like this, the top half. I take that guy off, and you can see right there. Set that guy aside. I could have done a little bit closer, but of course it's hard to get too close to the pit because then your blade sticks. Same thing on this side. I go on one on each side like that, and you get another half like that, and this will be your pit in the middle, but there's still some good meat on this. So what I do is I cut the strip off here. I just take the blade on this part and I drag it around the perimeter of the mango. I personally, I kind of like mine semi-not ripe, guys. I don't know about you, but when they start getting too squishy and they're super ripe, I don't think they taste good. So I like it when it's just a little bit firm. There'll be a section of meat here on the side of this pit. I kind of just drag along that. You end up with a piece, and look, this guy's got a bad spot on it. We'll cut that out of there. Don't want the bad spots. Might just be part of the pit. Anyways, and then on the other side here along the pit, you'll get a nice section like that. And sometimes you can get little pieces off of here. I don't like to waste it. I love this stuff, so I try to get as much as I can off that pit. Of course, the closer you cut to the pit when you're cutting the two halves off, the better too. But sometimes you'll get stuck on the pit, so I give it a little leeway. You can kind of just feel it out. All right, and then you have the two halves here. It's best to have a rag on hand so you don't cut through, but what you want to do is just score it long ways, and it's pretty hard, honestly. I mean, if you push hard enough, I guess you could get through on the skin. You just don't want to stab the palm of your hand. Drag the knife in there long ways like that. My daughter's going to be pretty excited because she's going to be able to eat this right after school today. Of course, Dad gets a little sample, and I cut it the other direction like this in these little squares. And then I'll take the other half and do the same thing. Long ways first. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. You can do it any size you want. Just kind of space them out a little bit across the length of the mango. Then this way. Get some decent sized cubes in there. All right. And then once you have it scored both directions on both halves, you just pop it inside out and you get this cool looking little helmet thing with all your chunks. Of course, sometimes you might have to play with it a little bit, depending on how deep you cut your chunks. Then you just want to scale the mango as close as you can to the skin. Sometimes it's a little difficult depending on how the mango bends, but yeah, I'm a big fan of trying to get as much fruit as possible. Of course, these things aren't cheap, so I'll do what I can to get close in there, and you just cut each of the chunks off like that. Same over here. You get a technique down after a while. Beginning of the season is always a little rough start for me. But a lot of people, I think, just peel these things and then eat around the core. I've known a few people to do that, so to me, I think this is the best way. You get all your fruit off there. cut all your chunks off. Get a bunch of little squares basically, and they're perfect little bite-sized pieces. Just like that, drag along the skin, and then I get a little bit of fruit in there. Sometimes I can get some of that off there. It just depends how picky I'm being, but for the most part, that side's done. Same thing with this side. One more time here, we just flip it inside out. Sometimes they're a little finicky and they like to split, but you can still manage to cut all your cubes off there. Just drag the blade along the skin like that. Get all your chunks. Just be careful, don't drag the blade into your fingers, obviously. I've been lucky enough to not cut a finger so far, but don't want to jinx myself. And there you go. There you have it. Mango cut. Obviously, we got to do a little taste test here. The rest of this will be for my daughter, but there you go, guys. Hope you enjoy. Have a good one.